So, if you make the video okay for youngins, there can't be no chat. Okay, I guess that's for pedophiles or crap like that, but So we had to make it for adults only. Welcome. I'm not sure I'd be classified an adult, so I got here somehow. Anyway, if you want to chat, got to see part of the last video. Throw something over there in the comments. Like I said, I had a crappy shooting afternoon, so I've swapped guns. Mitternoch's going to get the last open deal in the morning before we shove off and go back to the house. And I have to shut squirrel hunting down for the next 4 days and then get back on it. We'll see how that goes. But it has been overall a decent trip other than the torrential downpour we had from Zeta or Eta or whichever storm it was. It probably rained 8 or 9 inches in this area. Flooded roads, washed bridges. It's been pretty nasty. I'm still using Ely Edge and Mitternoch. It's still shooting really good. I am probably going to move to Ely Team after that because Ely Edge has been discontinued, unfortunately. Sad to hear that. Every time I think I found an ammo that I'm going to be able to stock up on and like, they get rid of it. They move it along. But I think the only difference in Team and Edge is the fact that Edge has a black case. Team has a brass case. I don't really care. It's easier to see the brass case in my magazine, so I kind of prefer the brass, but whatever. It shoots really good. Yeah, I'm still using the Kuntz Skinner, and thanks for reminding me of his name. We've been talking about him. He's since passed away. That Skinner, to me, that I understand, is no longer available. So that's unfortunate. I had a jig built so that I could have some more made because it's the only Skinner that I use. I really like it. It's really, really useful. On the level of scopes, I'm really enjoying my Vortex Strikefire. It has been a really good scope. I love the drops in it. It has a huge field of view. I really like that. Now it's heavy, 30 millimeter scope, and the side focus is not articulated. It's not labeled. It has dashes, but it doesn't give me any reading of 50 yards, 40 yards, 75 yards, whatever. Do I go after a squirrel a ways off if I'm sitting? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. LeBrad James went after 2 this morning and doubled on them. They were chasing one another around a tree. He saw them way off. He broke free from the group and went down and got those 2. I chased one down a hillside today. It knew I was there. I crossed the creek after it because it crossed the creek. And I still ain't sure that it was the same squirrel that I ended up getting, but it took, 40, at least 45 minutes. And I found them on a fence row, running around a tree with one another. And old Captain Wachongas, he sat down on a vine and decided to groom himself. And I put one in his ear and out his neck and into a tree about 10 yards behind him. About a 25-yard shot. I happened to be in the right position to be able to pin him where I did. There are shots you have to pass on because you don't have a decent backstop, but I had one where I had to move my sticks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just to get it just right, ease myself over so that I could thread the needle. I did that yesterday. A squirrel disappeared on the side of a sourwood, went up to his rooftop, over top of his den hole, and started eating face on to me. Once I finally got him in the glass in the scope, I think I powered up to 20x. It was a 35-yard shot, and right under the, let's see, he's facing me, so that would be the left eye. The left eye. I just pointed to my right, but things are reversed, and yeah, okay. But if you were not in the last video, I've got almost 30 minutes of edited footage. We've got some really good shots during this trip. Some really up close, some really good slow-mo. Well, we've had some misses on film too. We'll be honest, show those, because they certainly happen. They crushed me this afternoon. Looking forward to more of the leaves being gone. They're almost gone. The wind and the rain really took them down. I'm pretty sure that most of the mast is out of the trees. I saw a few black walnuts today. Plenty of mast to eat. Strode everywhere. But the squirrels are really working it. They're ground feeding pretty hard right now. But they have definitely been plentiful. I think most of the squirrels in this area have had a late litter, because we have definitely killed some young ones, but we have killed some tough old squirrels these past few days. Ones that their skin's like leather trying to peel them off. It can be a really tough job to skin squirrels like that. But you just got to boil them longer to tender that meat up. I think currently between the three of us, we are sitting, I think we did the math, we're sitting at about 45 or 46 squirrels between the three of us, which ain't bad for just stalking around. When the leaves are wet like they were, it's really easy to move. But it's very hard to hear them. Likewise, it's very hard for them to hear us. There. That might be a little better. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have emailed that guy also with no response. So I feel like they are probably not producing them anymore. They would have probably had to buy the rights to be able to produce them, because I think that is a patented, if they're going to sell them, that's a patented device. I had some smaller ones built out of, 300 series stainless steel, something like that. We don't have red squirrels around here. I had a chipmunk bother me the other day. Reds are mighty small. I'm not sure how they taste. I ain't sure they're even worth killing, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about red. The only person I've ever seen kill reds is X-Zyver on YouTube, and he's up in Maine. I will say though, I have gone to using game shears cleaning squirrels, and I really love them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna grab those and squirrel skinners. Camillus brand, that's what they are. I like these. These are got a little bone saw on top. We rarely use them, but for getting into the leg portion, when you're chopping legs off, these are great. They also come apart for cleaning, which is really nice. Cam right back together. and a little rough on your knuckle when you get into that bone section and you cut, and it'll beat your knuckle up. So I usually come outside of them when I close down. They're great for cutting legs off. They're great for cutting right up through the pelvis, going right straight up the gully all the way to the throat. I really do like those. Yeah, I get it. It's like when crows are terrorizing a hawk. I always love going after crows. I will pause squirrel hunting when a crow flies in. Here's my original coon skinner. I'm not sure what metal he made it out of. It's a great tool for skinning squirrels. I had my new ones built by a fellow church member that's I guess he's an amateur machinist, but he does a lot of work in aluminum. But he did a really good job. This is, 303, 304 stainless steel. And it's of a thinner metal. So if you want to tote this one in the woods with you and clean as you go, you could do this or do that. The newer coot skinners that you're talking about on the website, they have two pieces that turn up on the sides. And I kind of wish we'd have done that with these. Because if you're skinning a rabbit and you cut him through the back joint or whatever, tendon, like you do a deer, you can hang him on these pieces right here. But I do love this device. It's worth its weight for us to be able to stand straight up and skin a squirrel. There's a guy who knows his steel. Yep, it must be. He said it was a really good grade. He checked it with magnet. I trust his judgment. But I've gone from using the hatchet to using the game shears, and boy, it speeds things up. It really speeds things up. Matter of fact, the other guy we're hunting with uses toe trimmers, like goat hoof trimmers. They work really well for being able to take the parts of the squirrel off that we use the most for the meat. No, unfortunately, he doesn't sell any. I'm not sure that would be legal, being that it's patented item. I just had him made them. I went and got the steel and had him make them for me. I showed him my original, and he made me another one. I didn't want one to have break on me, which I don't really see how that's going to happen. I would probably lose it before I would break it. And I wanted to have a couple spares on hand. I'm not sure how that goes. I certainly don't want to get in any patent trouble. Not at all. We've had a pretty successful season, though. But I tell you, this season has been really, really hot. We have not had a frost yet, and we're almost to Thanksgiving. I've hunted in some hot weather before, but this has been pretty doggone hot. What I will say, though, is I have not picked the tick off of me all season. I treat my pants with paramethrin every year. I probably ought to do a video on that, showing my method. And I've had Rocky Mountain spotted fever, caught it early. They put me on doxycycline, and I'm very, very pleased with my recovery results. And I'm also never want to pick another tick off of me. So that paramethrin pant treatment works very well. We're working on it. You're gonna enjoy it. There's gonna be some good stuff, and it's just gonna get better. I've got a rat terrier that is 1.5, should be 2 in July, and she loves to send the squirrels in the backyard up the tree. She barks I got her a little blaze orange briar vest, and in the next few weeks, I'm going to take her out. We're going to see how she does. I need her to range a little bit. She only weighs 16 pounds, but she sure chops at the squirrels, and she will actually retrieve them and bring them out. She's very good at that. But I need to work with her a little bit. But I'm looking forward to that. My old dog Sassy, the white and black one in the video you see, she's getting old. She's losing her hearing. Her sight ain't all that good. She'll be 14 next year, so she's kind of on retirement. If I hunt her, and she gets a lot of walking in, she usually has to lay up for the rest of the day. I have her give her a Remedial so she can relax and take away some of that old dog pain. But Izzy's got a lot of spunk in her. She was in the tail end of last year's video. I'll work her again some more this season. The more the leaves come off, the easier it is for me to work her because I can identify the squirrel in the tree, and her chopping at it and sticking with the tree gives me the ability to shoot it out to her, which is her reward for sending it up the tree. I don't know much about training squirrel dogs. I need one it's in their blood, and I don't have to think about having to train it. My dog ain't gonna be perfect. I was never trained to train squirrel dogs. We had an old quail dog that just naturally treats squirrels. She didn't stick with the tree for long, though. We felt like the squirrel SWAT team. If she went to a tree in the woods, if it was 100 yards off, 200 yards off, and she started barking, you need to be there within 5 minutes, or she would pick another tree and go tree something else. So you had to put your head down, your rifle parallel with the ground, and put your rear end in gear. She's a good dog. She's since deceased. My cousin has some old video of us squirrel hunting. I'm still waiting on him to get that video. If he ever does get it, I'll have it transferred over to DVD. What up, cuz? And I will upload it to YouTube because it'll show you where the passion for this stuff all started way back in the day. I don't know that there's anything else new. I am just currently editing the timeline as I get footage. Every time I get footage, I drop it in the timeline, get it edited up. If it's a good slow-mo shot, I throw it in the timeline and make sure it's slow because, everybody likes to see those slow-mo shots. YouTube don't like them. They like to demonetize for those. Thank you, YouTube. Good to see you, Barry. Be out in the western part of the state, hunting around the Statesville area. Good timber up here. It is beautiful. Matter of fact, if I were going to move somewhere, this would be the place. It's hardwoods galore up here. Hickories, ashes, beech, white oak, pin oak, turkey oak, red oak. There's rarely any pines. Black walnuts. There's all kinds of mass-bearing trees up here. It's beautiful. I don't have any I'm gonna part with. I can't help it. If I sell one of these, then I'm probably patent infringing. That's why I had somebody personally make them for me. I think there's definitely a market for them. A lot of guys are using I guess it's the Skinner that has the V in it on two sides, and you hook their feet in it and skin them and it's got a piece of chain across the top of it. I can put you in touch with a guy who sells those. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about that. That's not something I use. It works, but I like my coons. Is that what it's called? The Hunter's Helper. I did not know that. There's a few different. There's a guy that makes one that installs into your trailer hitch and comes up and has some type of teeth on it. You clamp it down, and there's all kinds of devices out there. Coots died too early, and I don't really know. I guess these other cats that got this website have bought the patent, I guess. I'm not sure. Can you throw a link into the chat? The other guys might want to check that out. I don't have a clue. I mean, I guess I could look it up too. Okay, it's a .com. Oh yeah. They even got one for coons. Make one for rabbits and squacks. Somebody's probably already beat me to this, but Squirrel Betty Kane for the win right there. Bink. There you go. How about that? Good call, Mark Hammer. Appreciate the intel. Some folks might be able to use that, but I've never tried it. But it seems to work. My downfall with skinning them is getting them 45-degree cuts right around their hip area to be able to, when I chuck them, that they tear completely. I have them usually tear one-sided, and then I have one piece of skin that gets stuck, and I got to use my knife again and nip it out of the way, and that tends to be aggravating. Our buddy up here, when he skins them, he's got a method that he uses that he doesn't gut, and that's nice, I got to say. Any questions out there? I'll take some questions before I shower up, turn in. We're going to have an early morning, get going about 6. So if we can't hit some woods. Missouri. I know y'all boys has got some crazy squirrels. Y'all close to Arkansas. You will see a new video somewhere around the 1st of March. I've tried turning them out every month, and the views just suck. So I put it all in one. It's easier for me to do it that way too. If you want to see a squirrel chewing a nut, I just turned that video out. But you probably already know what that's all about. Those are for new folks who have never heard that sound before. Appreciate you watching. And you saw the car drive behind the background. That's what my backstop was. So that squirrel was not going to get shot. Way unsafe. But that little pocket, that little corner, that little acre and a half had 7 squirrels in it. It was crazy. Urban squirrels. Yeah. They could, I guess they could be considered urban-ish. I like urban missions, especially with a suppressor. You roll in there and wear some squirrels out. It's very, very hard for me to hunt uncanned anymore. I love it so much. I love it so much, I wish everything I had was threaded. Oh, yeah. Always still shooting the CZ. I think I'm gonna purchase myself a T1X though. Ah, ribs packs been bothering my traps, toting it all around. Um, I think I'm gonna get me a Tikka T1X, but I'm gonna get it in 16 inch. I don't want the 20-inch barrel. Shorter the better. I don't know that I'm gonna be crazy about the factory stock, but I'm gonna try it. I do love the adjustability of that trigger. I love the 60-degree bolt throw. I'm probably gonna buy a DIP flat magazine base that reduces from 10 to 7 rounds. The accuracy on those has been pretty good, at least up to my standards. I just need to put 5 or 10 in a penny at 50 yards, and I'm happy. I'm still utterly disappointed with Ely for turning out the white box subsonic garbage that they have. What a just the before they canceled the lot analyzer, which aggravated me. They I checked the white box lot that my buddy got, and it was a 96% at 55 yards to hit a dime. Every green box lot I have is 99.5% or better at that distance. It blows my mind that they would turn that garbage out of the factory. It really does, which is why I switched to Edge, and then Edge is gone non-existent. And if you ain't been paying attention, we're in another ammo-geddon, so finding plinking ammo, you're going to pay match ammo prices, and match ammo has dried up also. So if you want something decent to shoot, it may be hard to find. There are only a few subsonics on the market, CCI subsonic being one of them. I shot a little of that today. It barely does good enough at 25 yards. And then you got RWS subsonic. I wish it shot better. It's really quiet. And then the only other hollow point subsonic on the market that I know of other than Fiocchi, and I can't get it to shoot good, is Ely. You're right. All ammo is hard to get. You're exactly right. I agreed. Good Shooting Incorporated is one of my favorite places to look for ammo. I like those guys a lot. What's another place? Bruno Shooter Supply. I think they're out of Texas. You'll find some stuff there. They may be a little higher priced. Still using the Waltz die on anything that doesn't have a hollow point. That tool is a saving grace. I just wish SK was cold tolerant. If it was cold tolerant, it'd be great, but it's not. So I have to use it in warm weather only. I've tried Polar Biathlon. No, strike that. SK Biathlon Sport. It's okay. Polar Biathlon's better, but you go from $7 a box for 50 to $13, $13.50 a box for 50. Plus, you are in hotter weather breaking the speed of sound, so it's louder. Colder it gets, the better off. But it's pretty good ammo. Matter of fact, it shoots pretty close to Lapua Exact. And Lapua Exact wholesale price is about $23 for 50. Oh, Fahonix, Arizona. All right. But on the ammo scene, Edge is working really well for me. It has the same flat surface area as the CCI small game bullet, which I have 50 of, but I've never fired them. I've never even tried them for accuracy. Most of the time, CCI doesn't do all that great for me. Yes, Ely Edge. It is black case, black bullet in a black box. It is kind of almost dried up on the market, and supposedly Ely has discontinued it. So the next step up from there is Ely Team. It has the EPS tip too. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a pretty good shooting round, and it kind of tears paper like a wad cutter. because it has that flat nose. It hits like Thor's hammer when it smacks a squirrel too. I still love my Ely subs. They're kind of hard to find. I can tell I've been toting a 9-pound rifle too with that big old 30mm scope on it, but I will tell you this. When you need to zoom in on one a ways off, it sure is nice to have that added power. But as much walking as I've done this week, a Clear Ridge Ultra XP 6-20 would have been perfect. That 1-inch tube, that lighter weight would have done my shoulders a lot of help. I'm check my season tally. I'm at 48. Not too bad. It'll get better. Yeah, squirrel scope for the $1. Oh, 1-inch or 30. And probably what's your budget? 30. Oh, for the $. I really want to try an Element Helix. Those are from Matt Dubber, Ted Beer, Ted's holdover in Air Arms, South Africa. Both air gunning guys. I want to try those. I wish they would have put illumination in there. Would have made it heavier. I love how they build it components wise. I'm not sure if I like the MRAD or the MOA. Dollar wise, discontinued. I love the Vortex Strike Eagle 4-24. It has a huge field of view. That's what's on Mitternacht. I love that scope, but it's 26 ounces. It's heavy. It hurts. Ounces equal pounds, and pounds equal pain. If I was going to go 1-inch, I'd buy a Clear Ridge Ultra XP in 6-24x40 mil dot. Might weigh 16 ounces, maybe 17. 1-inch tube. I wish it had side focus instead of having to reach up and AO, but you can get over that. And the tall target turrets, if they could bring those down a little bit, that would probably help. But it's $370. The Vortex is at Euro Optic currently $309.99, $9.99 shipping, but now internet charges taxes too. So, boy, that has deterred my internet shopping. The Helix, I didn't say the price for it. It's $399.99 over at Optics Planet. I think I'm not sure if Air Gun Depot has them. Pyramid Air. I know they carry them. They have stainless steel components inside the turrets. That's the one thing I do love about the Helix is the clicks on the turrets. Holy cow. They snap loud enough for the squirrel in the next county to hear you. Not that I dial while I'm hunting, but tactile and audible clicks are important to me. Okay, let's see if I'm trying to figure out what you're asking. Are we talking about shooting at an angle up? Or are we talking about pinning the bullet to the tree? Pinning the bullet to the tree, typically, I want the squirrel as center in that tree as possible because I want to make dang sure my bullet doesn't leave that tree. I need the ground to, if I'm taking a ground shot, I need to make sure I'm either standing and I'm higher than the squirrel so that I know the bullet doesn't leave that turf. And then elevation wise, I need to make sure that the angle is steep enough, high enough that I'm willing to take that before I send a round. So the fact that did the flooding sweep them away and kill them, or did it sweep all their food away and they went hungry or moved on? That's my question. Yeah, the group I hunt with, we're fairly particular about how we take shots, and if there's anything in question, we talk it through before we make one, or we just pass. Places I've been hunting this week, if beef is your backstop, you best not shoot, because that 22 round you fire might end up costing you $1,500. So I don't want to buy a steak at that price. And so we got to be really, really mindful of backstop. Shooting on a limb, if the ankle's high enough, I'm usually shooting. This is a constant question. It's a constant battle. Depends on how rural you are and how rural of an area you are. I kind of feel like if you would fire a pellet up in the air like that, I don't see how a 22 differs that much, other than it's propelled by powder versus air. Some of those boys, Beer and Dubber, they're using hollow pointed slugs now in their rigs. So I don't really see how that's a whole lot different, other than maybe the foot pounds of torque or less. But yeah, we still weigh those shots too. The more urban places get, the more people need squirrels killed. And the more likely folks with air guns are to get those jobs. But I have a longest headshot, 119 yards on film. I tried at 139 yards before. I don't know if it was the same squirrel, but I couldn't quite figure out where I was hitting. You can obviously see it on film, but I couldn't figure it out in the field. I was using the Bushnell Elite Tactical 4.5 to 30 by 50. Well, that's fun. And since if I powered all the way up to 30, I didn't have enough drops on my reticle to be able to see the squirrel in the scope. So I had to back off, I think, to 12.5 power. That's one thing I like about the Vortex. The Vortex has 2 or 3 small drops before the big line, and then 2 or 3 more. Because last year I shot at a squirrel in a cutover at 224 yards with that optic, and I come close twice. It's close enough to make him move. But I do like the strike. And if you don't like the 4 to 24, I think they make a 3 to 18. But if it's the same price as the 4 to 24, give me more power. Give me more power. I made a 82 yard headshot last year across the field. Yeah, I missed him the first shot, the 119, but I hit him on the second, right above the eye. That one's on film. There's a 3-minute clip of it, but it's also in that season's hunting video. Last season's video got age restricted. Apparently, we did something pissed the lords at Google off. Oh yeah, I still use that knife. I don't really use it for squirrels because I don't want it to rust, but I use it on my rifle bench. I do love it. It is very, very well made. I will give you that. And very, very sharp. Very sharp. I just never got a sheath for it. It's hard for me to get away from my Spyderco because it's so utilitarian. That VG10 steel never rusts. It's easy for me to sharpen. It's lightweight. I don't know. I'm fond of it. The hole in it hangs on a nail on the tree when I'm skinning. Not to say that your knife doesn't work. It's a work of art. I do love it, and I do appreciate it. Bow opens in September. Muzzleloader opens 2 weeks before rifle. Rifle typically opens the second week of October and runs all the way to January 1st. Yeah, I cut through the feet when I'm carrying my squirrels with a Victorinox Cadet, so I can understand why that case works, why you like that case. We saw a deer. We saw a deer Thursday when we were creeping up through the woods, and of course it had been blanketed with 9 inches of rain. He started coming down, and we started making a few noises at him. He's 7-pointer, 12 inches wide, and I snort wheezed a couple of times, and that changed his demeanor. And he postured a little bit, started walking sideways, and then he run off to the top of the hill and flapped his tail a little bit, and then come back down the hill, trying to figure out where we were. Just playing around with him, and didn't even try to reach for the camera to get any film of him. It would have been pretty good. I try to record a few transitions like that, so show some other nature that's going on. I did get a rabbit last weekend. I bumped one in some reeds. You following me on Instagram, you'll see that. I post pretty much every hunt picture of the take, and we already put that rabbit in our belly. I cooked that rabbit Monday night. The rabbit's a bonus. Spooked him in them reeds. He jumped. Couldn't figure out how far he went. He really didn't open up. We killed a couple squirrels. I told Brad I was going to step over in the reeds. I did. About 8 yards away, I found the eyes and the ears and free-handed it from there. Rabbit's good. I love rabbit. Nope, North Carolina. I'm in the Northern Carolina. I've never hunted South Carolina other than for deer. I've been to Virginia, hunted squirrels. I've been invited to Arkansas, Mississippi. I won't say Missouri. I can't remember where else. But buying a license and all that stuff everywhere. Heck, to go hunt in Virginia, $60 for 3 days for small game. Crazy. Good gracious. But I'm lifetime in North Carolina, so that's been paying for itself for a few years now. Sumter. I've heard of it. I don't know if that's on the coast, Charleston. I don't have a clue. Newport, I believe that is on the coast. I don't know. Nope, I hadn't bought any rifles in a while. My Mitternacht and me have clicked. That's the best shooting CZ 455 I got. You would know. East of Columbia. I'm trying to mentally picture where that's at. I haven't taken the Feddersen 455 out yet this year. I certainly didn't want to bring it knowing all this rain was going to be here, because that chrome, I can't remember what components it's made of, that chrome barrel, it'll rust if you look at it wrong. So I try to take it out on nice days only. Hadn't taken the CZ Scout out, but I figure when I take Izzy out a little bit, I'll take that out. The mass crop's heavy. You would think it'd be pretty good. I'd want a big mixture of hardwoods, though. Maybe a few pines thrown in there, because I've killed squirrels in pine trees, thinning cones. The mass crop's been incredible here. And from what I've heard, most of the southeast, the mass crop's been incredible. I mean, white oaks in the early season were raining down. There were white oaks everywhere. Black walnut trees were hung full. Our season comes in second week of October for squirrels. We always miss the hickory nuts, but I ain't a big fan of hunting the super hot weather, so I'd probably skip September myself. And they said average number of squirrels in a 10-acre parcel. I'd bet probably 25 to 30. Ain't no telling how many we walked past this week that we had no clue. Never heard of that. Cypress ball. They eat beech nuts here too, but we missed them. We missed the beaches. The wildest thing I have seen one feeding on is a piece of cow bone. I killed that squirrel last year because I could hear him chewing on it. He was sitting up in a tree with a piece of cow bone, thin cow bone that was about the size of a drinking straw. And he was just cutting on it. And I kept listening, and I kept listening, and I kept listening, and I finally found him. And I was kind of stunned that he was chewing that bone. And once I centered that crosshair, I knocked him out. Yeah, I don't doubt that. When they eat black walnuts and hickory around here, they get that orange tint on the white. They get covered. Well, I'm going to shut this bad boy down here in about 5 minutes. Get myself a shower and sack out and get ready for one more hunt. See if I can't redeem my crappy shooting from this afternoon. I know it won't the rifle. It's just aggravating. Aggravating to sneak down in that bottom and shoot and miss, and then have him set at 25 yards and suck less, bro. Suck less. I'm still running Ely Green Box in 452 American and 455 Fedderson, and I am running Ely Edge in Mitternacht. It's all black. It's kind of cool. Black scope, black stock, blue barrel, black ammo. It's pretty cool. But Ely discontinued Edge. Thanks, Ely. So the next best thing is going to be team. It has the flat point. I may experiment with seeing if I can put a little hollow point dimple in that flat point and see if it changes things. Not that it changes the accuracy. I imagine it'll probably stay the same. My curiosity is how much more capable, lethal will it be if I add a hollow point to that flat tip. When the Ely Green Box is gone, I'm not sure what subsonic ammo I'm going to shoot. It was said earlier in the chat, Good Shooting Incorporated is a good place to look, James. Bruno Shooter Supply is a good place to look. Tell me what type of high-end ammo you're looking, and I'll tell you a place to look for it. That's interesting. You're looking for Ely. Ely what? Are you looking for Ely subs or just Ely all around? Good Shooting Incorporated usually has a stock of Ely. I know Bruno does too. You may want to check Champion's Choice or Champ's Choice. I think it's Champ's Choice. I'd stay away from white box sub. There's none I have shot that is even close. You shouldn't even stamp the Ely name on them. They ought to have boxed that stuff up, sit it out on a midnight mission to go some other company and have them label their name on it, because it's garbage. White box that I have shot a 96% on a dime at 55 yards, and everything we shot it in was over a 50-cent piece at 50 yards. It was terrible. Oh, and see, that's one. I used to shoot the old silver box Winchester, 40 grain, big truncated cone, but they would have that ammo would have a wild streak. I'd have a really nice group, and then the next group would just go all to pieces, and then all to pieces, and then it would tighten back up, and then all to pieces again, and I couldn't trust that, so I got rid of that. But I have not tried the black box 42 grain. That's another sub that I didn't think about. But it's usually not one that I would consider, just like Remington Subsonic. It's not one I consider because it's not something I can find in case quantity. That's awesome. If it works good in your 452, find some of that and buy it. Because as the ammunition becomes more scarce in a lethal sense of using for squirrels, it seems like my price keeps going up. And some of them green box Ely subs I paid $100 a brick for. The last few bricks I bought were $49.50. It was a really good deal. So we bought a lot. Winchester 36 grain hollow points, like the Super X stuff. If I was still shooting guns that made loud noise, I would have more ammunition to choose from. I really would. But I'm telling you, once you go suppressed, it's hard to go back. I shot a loud rifle just zeroing a scope today and had earplugs in. Yeah. When I say loud CZ, because it's got a 22-inch barrel. Just once I've gotten away from it, it's hard to go back. And Hammer, did you say you was in Arkansas? If you're in Arkansas, cans are legal there, from what I remember, what I've looked at. But once you do it, be ready to want to cut and thread everything you got. It's awesome. I love it. So you know when you miss and you know when you make contact. I think probably my favorite high velocity ammo, probably Ely. It's a brown box, high velocity hollow point. I like those. Yeah, guaranteed. The shorts will be quiet. I got that 28.5-inch barrel CZ Ultralux, and that joker's quiet with subsonic ammo. It ain't suppressor quiet, but ain't far off. But it's like walking through the woods with a shepherd's staff. It's so dang long. Any more questions? I'm gonna wrap this joker up in about 5 more minutes. I said that 5 minutes ago, probably, but we're gaining on an hour, so I'm gonna cut her at an hour. Plus, I gotta have some nap time if y'all want me to film some in the morning. And everybody knows they want some beautiful squirrel footage, especially some headshots. Brad got me on a double. Later, Barry. I appreciate the vote of approval. I look sleepy. We've been squirrel hunting sun up, lunch, sundown, hang out for a little bit, bed. The Brad James snores like a freight train. I got earplugs up there. I have to sleep with him. He got a noise machine on. If he watches this video, he's probably gonna strangle. He's gonna quit being my amateur cameraman. Uh, so, and I gotta put them earplugs in so I can get some sleep. But tonight I'll be so tired it probably won't take much. Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. The boy sleeps on a pillow that's about the thickness of a pizza box. Lays on his back. If he ever got a sleep apnea machine, it'd be one that you wheel around like a generator. He said he can't be sleeping with no mask on, though. He won't watch this video. It's this deep anyway. I told him I was going to probably do a live, and apparently he didn't want to make a cameo. But he went to bed. All right, crew. I'm going to sign off since it looks like most of y'all are jumping ship. I appreciate y'all hanging out and giving a little chat. Hope y'all enjoyed a little bit of update. And I'll try to do better tomorrow. Me and Mitternacht will probably link up, and I hope I'm 100% tomorrow. All right. Good night. We'll check y'all later. Squirrel Daddy Kane signing off.